Welcome to the Jarrod Kimber Super Over, the last one of the series. Ashwin, a lot of Indian fans telling me he was gone. He looks okay.
He looks fine. Let me tell you, he's a fine bowler. It just shows you as someone with that experience, regardless of his age. People got to bypass the age and sometimes the way you may run to the boundary. But when he's got a ball in his hand, he is a master at work. And he just shows you the slight nuances of bowling. Manoeuvres round in the crease, slight little variations in his wrists, and he's causing the England batsmen all sorts of problems.
Talking about an England batter he might have caused some problems for, can you take us through the Ben Duckett wicket?
I really don't know what was happening. It was the second over. Obviously, you know, you're thinking Bumrah with the first over, get through that. And then you got Ashwin with the new ball. And basically, I'm not too sure what he was thinking, but I think you had told me he's not left the crease at all against Ravi Ashwin. So I don't know
against anyone.
I don't know what his mindset was, because, you know, when someone does something, you sort of think there's a method, there's a plan, they trained for it. But he sort of ran outside leg stump, looked like he wanted to try and slap it or over cover. He's missed it. It's near enough yoked him, and it just looked rubbish. And I called it. I was on at the time, and I just said, that's rubbish batting. You know, when we sort of said, look, your objective is for England to bat the day and then see where you are at the end of the day. You bat fast enough as a group. So if you bat all the day, so that's 80-plus overs, you're going to have a lead. You're going to have a lead, England, and then all of a sudden it creates different thoughts, and then you're bowling on a tired pitch. Anything's possible, but he just gave it away, and that was, for me, was the catalyst for the innings that preceded.
Yeah, it was terrible. Ollie Pope's innings. Messy?
Yeah, it just looked frenetic. It just like there was no control. It just felt like he wanted to get bat and ball, and as a number 3, you want the ball to come to you. You want to just play with the ball underneath your eyes and just punch it. He just looked, you know, balls outside off stump, and he was like fetching for it. The curtain rail, as we talk about it, the curtain rail, he just looked frenetic against spin. Yeah, it's something that he'll need work on, definitely. Just creates a problem at number 3, because if you take his 196 out of it, and he batted beautifully, even though he gave a lot of chances, he's not really got any runs. And he's not looked great also in doing it. It just looked like a muddled mind. Yeah, not a great way to finish a series for him.
Ben Stokes, there'll be a lot of talk about Bazball and captaincy and everything else. What about his batting versus spin? How do you feel that held up?
Yeah, not great. I mean, against Kuldeep, he seemed to have issues. He wasn't pricking his wrong un, and he went back a lot of time. And sometimes players, these modern day players, when they are not sure about picking it, in the old days, you would just get out there and try and sweep. Now the players go all the way back, and it would just smash him on his pads, and it was hitting the stump. So, yeah, he won't be happy. The frustration and the anger he had prior to the ball, because Joe Root had clipped one, and you're thinking he possibly could have run 2. It was just before lunch. You're thinking he's batting nicely. You face the bowling. And they've only got one, and then Ashwin comes on. It's just slider. It just slides on with the angle coming round the wicket, and it's beat him in between bat and pad. So he'll be disappointed. He'll look absolutely fuming as he turned away and walked to the dressing room. And it just sort of sums it up, really. He'd be disappointed. The one positive is obviously he bowled his 5 overs. He got that pearl of a delivery to get Rohit Sharma, who was 100, and got the wicket. But, yeah, disappointed with the way that he's most probably gone away about his batting.
What do you think of Bumrah's mini spell there to kind of go through the tail? That was nice, no?
Yeah, and for me, and you know, we brand in the world great or world-class maybe too much sometimes, but he is a world-class bowler, because what I love is if the conditions suit, he can do that. But if the conditions don't, he goes to that Yorker. And I always complain and moan about fast bowlers not getting the Yorker in. If you've got it on tap like he has, that's the ball he went to. The ball he bowls to Mark Wood is an absolute perler. It's hit him on his foot before his bat's even got down. It was smashing, well, we thought it was maybe clipping leg stump. It says it was smashing middle and leg. It was a fantastic delivery. And that's what you have. When you have a world-class bowler who can bowl at that pace and he's different, you can go bang, bang. And when you have that in your team, factor in you've got Ashwin, factor in you've got Jadeja, factor in you've got Kuldeep Yadav bowling beautifully, bowling wrist spin and having it on an absolute string, they're going to cause problems around the world.
Finally, we thought that Joe Root, for all the Bazball talk, we really thought that England would need a lot of runs out of Joe Root in this series. Instead, what we got to start with was a lot of overs. And when he finally stopped bowling, he started making runs. Could be a coincidence, of course, but it did seem like there was a correlation there.
Yeah, well, you know, people will say that he would have been tired when it came to batting because he was bowling more than he would have definitely expected, but he bowled well. But what you want Joe Root to do is score a truckload of runs, and he did that when he wasn't expected to bowl as much. You know, he got a beautiful 100, and, you know, in this innings, he just batted. Yes, he played 2 reverse sweeps, but he just batted. You know, he played every ball on its merit, hit a boundary, hit it to long on, long off, take the single. He got to 84 of 120 odd balls. That is good batsmanship. It's a shame he had to hold out at the end, but obviously he's just, you know, trying to get to 100 back with Jimmy Anderson at the end. But he batted beautifully, and if only the rest of the team can just take that on board. You've got someone who's got a lot of runs, 3100s. Just see how he goes about it. Yes, you want to be positive, but you can be positive in defence as well. You don't have to hit a boundary all the time. There's more ways to skin a cat. Show some people that you've got other tricks as well, because what will happen, captains and players around the world will say, right, okay, I do not mind at all if you hit me for a few boundaries, because I know that you've got a mistake in you, and I'll take that. If you go and hit me for 20, but I get you out, a bowler's going to take that every time.
Thank you very much, Tudes. We'll see you for the next series.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.